Well, you're welcome to the review segment here on our show, The AM Show. Want to say a very good morning to Professor Ken Agyapong, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. I know that you're glued. A very good morning to you, sir. I hope you're doing very well.
He used to be at Lagos, the premier university, and when they set up the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Prof was moved over there to assist. Give them a strong footing. So good morning to Prof. He used to be, we have a research, he used to be Pro-VC in charge of ORIT. It's a research wing of the university. Okay. It fell under him. Fantastic professor.
But what's the stress on he used to be with the premier university?
I'm only stating facts. I'm sure if you get in touch with Prof, you'll agree. Good morning, Mamavi.
Good morning, you too. Mischievous Joseph Akablay, I hope you're well.
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm okay. There's something you missed. You didn't tell us happened in court last Friday with the Ken Agyapong case. I'm looking at the New Publisher newspaper, and the front page says, Judge begs Ken Agyapong over charge sheet anomaly. My confusion, though, is I see the Chief Justice, Kwesi Anini-Yeboah's picture with Ken Agyapong. So did he go to the Supreme Court or he was at the High Court?
No, this was at the High Court. It was a concern that the lawyers for Mr. Agyapong had raised, led by Kwame Jan. They had referred to a recent, if I can put it as recent, I mean, the case of the Republic versus Bafo Boni, where the court held that accused persons are entitled to all documents the prosecutor or state intends to use against them in the course of a trial. And so the point was being made that he was seeing the charge sheet in terms of the specific case against him for the first time in the courtroom. And so that was what he had concerns about. He didn't know the particulars of the offense against him. And so that was what the judge said, I mean, he was sorry about. But I don't know why they are putting an image of the Chief Justice there. Neither do I.
The judge begging.
Exactly. Neither do I think the judge did beg him. But, I mean, that's the angle the paper chooses to capture the story. So it relates to that issue about the charge sheet and how it had been made available to him in the courtroom and asking him to respond to it. So those were the issues there.
Okay. All right. But they're back in court tomorrow, Thursday?
Yes, the doctor is supposed to speak to the medical excuse duty that was handed to the court. He's supposed to explain what exactly the post-COVID-19 complications are. Okay.
There's another story on the front page of the Publisher, the headline at least, that we've got an update on. It says, mad rush for dead bodies as mortuary workers begin strike. Joseph Akablay, you've got an update on that. There's no action, there's no strike.
Yes, the NLC, National Labour Commission, has been engaging the mortuary workers. The strike was actually supposed to take off tomorrow, but we understand from the NLC that per the engagement they've had with them, the NLC says to be issuing a statement this morning. They've reached an agreement with the workers to call off the strike for now and sit at the negotiation table, hoping to have their grievances addressed.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to the more traditional papers, if you like. The Daily Graphic newspaper front page. Cocoa Board secures $1.3 billion dollars for cocoa beans. Also, 27 billion Ghana cedis spent on social interventions, according to the Vice President. Details of that story you find on page 38 of the paper. We will definitely bring you highlights. I guess I'll do it now. Page 38. The Vice President has said the President's led government has so far spent 27 billion Ghana cedis on its major policy interventions. He named some of the interventions as NAPCO, the free SHS, the restoration of nursing and teacher training allowances, and free water and electricity supply. Vice President said, he said this when he was addressing a meeting with teachers and artisans at Mataheko in the Ablekuma Central Municipality yesterday. Okay, so it talks about the tour, but I guess it's this figure that we'll be looking at later that will be also making conversation, the fact that they've spent 27 billion Ghana cedis on social interventions. Still on the front page, some other headlines. One district, one factory. President commissions Casa Preco plant in Kumasi. And this happened yesterday. Also, one-day voter registration tomorrow. One-day voter registration tomorrow. The Electoral Commission has said it will reopen the voters register for 1 day tomorrow as proposed. The exercise, which will take place in all the district offices of the EC in all the regions from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., is intended to give opportunity to those who qualify but who, for one reason or another, were unable to register during the recently held registration exercise. This is in fulfillment of the electoral guidelines in Ghana that stipulates that a person may vote provided his or her name is in the certified register at least 60 days before the elections. It is expected that the process will be completed to meet the guidelines to enable the new batch of applicants to vote in the December 2020 poll. So this is the final window for you, I guess, if you haven't registered to vote in December. One of the things I learned very early on, listen, even if you think, because sometimes we say it, even though we really don't mean it, I think most often. You say, oh, me, I'm not interested in the elections, I won't vote. But have you registered at least? Please do register. If you do, then you can make that decision later on. It's your call, by the way. Center spread efforts to transport money to banks, according to the Bank of Ghana. We did talk about this, Joseph, yesterday. One of the papers carried it. The Bank of Ghana has reached, this is an agreement reached with the Ghana Air Force to use its fleets comprising helicopters and aircraft to airlift money for banks and other financial institutions across the country. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, said in Accra last Monday that the arrangement was part of efforts by the central bank to reduce incidents of armed robbery on vehicles transporting money for financial institutions nationwide. Still doesn't answer the question of where would the helicopter land if you're, say, taking the money to any of the banks on the ring road in Accra, for instance, or any of the banks in any of the other neighborhoods, maybe in the central business districts of Kumasi, for instance. Where will the helicopter land? You still have to give the money to the vehicles to transport it to the banks, don't they?
Yeah, it comes back to, it's a major issue, and hopefully before this takes off, we'll get some understanding about how exactly this is supposed to work.
Okay, well, do you smoke shisha?
No, I don't.
Fantasize doing it?
No, it doesn't seem very hygienic generally. Anytime I've seen it, I've seen people, like 5-6 people around it, and I mean, I know others, I'm told others, they go with their own pipe of a sort, and so they fit it on the thing. But I
haven't seen anybody with their own exclusive pipe. I just see them pass it around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I heard those ones, but it's just generally, smoking is generally not something.
Okay, so there you see on the screen, smoking shisha dangerous equals 100 sticks cigarette. I mean, cigarette is no better. Shisha is not.
As in when you smoke, for how long, or is it duration wise?
Okay, did they say that? I doubt. Okay, but it says 80% of people with heart diseases, or 80% of premature deaths from heart diseases can be avoided if we take measures to avoid these risk factors. I guess smoking shisha is one of those. But let's see if I can fast forward to what would interest Joseph Akablay. There's an upsurge in shisha smoking among young people who consider the practice as a symbol of enlightenment, Joseph, despite its inherent dangers. Is an oriented tobacco pipe with a long, flexible tube which draws smoke through minted and flavored water contained in the bowl. Let's see. So this is the executive director of the National Cardiothoracic Center speaking, right?
Okay.
Dr. Lawrence Ajimang Sribo. He's bemoaned the rising trend of shisha smoking among the youth, saying the situation could result in adversity if not controlled. Let's see. Yeah. I don't think there's in terms of the number of
the duration.
The duration, yeah. But you can read the rest of the story. If this doesn't scare you enough, grab the paper and read the rest of it. On the back page, Tachiman hosts 36th Farmers Day, November 6th. Graphic distributes face mask at Agbogboloshi. This is a good thing because a lot of us have relaxed on the use of masks these days. Let's see the final front page. Appointment of Keta Port Project Director necessary to give him authority, according to the Ghana Ports Harbours Authority. Economy good governance to decide 2020 elections according to a survey. Comes with a picture of Dr. Kobe Mensah of the University of Ghana. CEO of La Bianca Company sues Dr. Hannah Bisu for 10 million Ghana cedis. I'll bring you a bit of that story, which is on page 5. Also, Cocoa Board signs $1.3 billion loan to buy cocoa for 2020-2021 crop season. National debts management in 2020 is one of the best in recent years, and we cannot return to incompetence after 4 years of stellar leadership. That's according to the vice president. But this issue about Dr. Hannah Bisu being sued, it says an Accra High Court has summoned former Member of Parliament for Tano South and Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Hannah Bisu, to appear before it to answer charges of defamation brought against her by one Mrs. Eunice Hene, Chief Executive Officer of La Bianca Company Limited, for comments she made on radio. Dr. Bisu, the national women organizer of the NDC, is said to have made these comments during a telephone interview on Accra-based radio station Adom FM's morning show on September 7, 2020. And according to the writ of summons, the former MP accused Ms. Hene of being a criminal, dishonest, unpatriotic, and not being a law-abiding citizen. I tell you what, if you continue to read the story, it breaks the comments even further. You can read the rest of it. I'll leave you to do that. But a bit about this other story, the performances of the Ghanaian economy, job creation, and voters' perception about which of the two main leading political parties offer good governance will decide the 2020 elections. That's according to the latest iPoll survey. The survey conducted by Dr. Kobe Mensah, lecturer of the University of Ghana, said education and corruption, which were key issues in the previous general elections, were ranked low by respondents as key issues that could influence their decision in the upcoming elections. It said health was surprisingly the least mentioned factor, considering that we are in the midst of a global pandemic that has killed nearly 300 Ghanaians and caused the government to promise new hospitals across the country. You can grab the paper and read all of it. Okay, Joseph?
Let me start from the front page of the Ghanaian Times this morning. It says, government won't tolerate violence, rabble-rousers in upcoming elections. That's coming from the president. A separatist group strikes again in Ho, attacks STC yard, bends 2 buses, subjects driver security men to severe beatings. And it has some images here on how to wear a mask properly. Interesting images here. The back page of the Ghanaian Times says, tunnel irrigation to be ready by 2021, and 36th Farmers Day launched also on the back page. But the crime page, Mamavi's favorite part of the Ghanaian Times, it says theft, burglary, top crimes committed in Ghana. That is according to the Ghana Statistical Service. It says theft and burglary were the topmost crimes committed in about 2,770 communities across the country in May and June this year. This is according to a survey conducted by the service. And so it goes on to make the point that while there was a general increase in criminal activities by 34.1%, localities in lockdown areas had the highest increase in crime rate, recording 47.1% of all the crimes committed within the period under consideration. So very interesting data there that during the lockdown, people were actually attacking people in their homes in the lockdown areas. And so it's very interesting.
And there's also a bit about the domestic violence, you know. Well, just after it was lifted, lightly, I engaged the DOFSU boss, and at the time, they didn't quite have the records.
Okay.
So it didn't indicate that there was a rise. So I found this rather very interesting. It gives proper data to what has happened.
Yeah.
We're going to be sharing bits of it with you. Because you remember that we're still in the COVID period, except that for us in Ghana, we're recording low numbers. And so it's a bit quiet in terms of our conversations. But the talk outside in Europe, in America, on domestic violence was very loud. And there were people who were saying without data that it had increased in Ghana. But of course, the state institutions who usually will compile this data or even have the records disputed that. But now we've got facts, to back that.
Yes. So I guess the obvious explanation is because, I mean, people were staying at home more and they were engaged. The further part of the story says so after the theft and burglary, it was followed by domestic violence and assault in communities which shared borders with other countries, lockdown areas, and communities which had neither lockdown nor shared borders with other localities. And so still the lockdown areas, so people were home and they had to be in constant interaction with their spouses.
You have to endure it.
Yeah.
So if before you could use the excuse of going to work, so whoever was abusing you, you'd see that person less. Now you're under lockdown with that person and there's nowhere to go.
Yeah. Interesting there. But this other story here, man grabbed for attempting to smuggle weed into police cells. It has his photograph.
Such people are brave. The person is already in custody.
Yeah, so someone is in custody, was trying to smuggle the weed to the person.
I mean, what kind of, is it like you miss being in the cells with the person?
He said he concealed cannabis, quantities of amphetamines and diazepam tablets and a packet of cigarettes with a lighter in an empty sachet water bag. Okay, so it was a mix. Everything is inside. Okay.
Yeah, Samuel. Well,
let me quickly do the front
this
page
person
of
will
the
join
Daily Guide.
whoever is behind the cells, right?
Certainly. The front page of the Daily Guide quickly says, Volta rebels strike again, bend buses in Ho. Baumia consoles Rollins also on the front page. And NDC silence on Saglemi housing strange. And EC can't rig election. That's from Jane Mensah, chairperson of the Electoral Commission. The back page has Akono 25K paid too huge. It's coming from the New Patriotic Party, the Deputy General Secretary, Nano Bribuahin. I see. Interesting. Nana Obribuahin was the one who was talking about the EC filing fee.
Yes.
He said it's too small if you are not serious. I said the money for the coach is too much. $25,000 is too much. Okay. Offensive tragedy strikes. KP Boateng pledges support for bereaved families. It's also on the back page of the Daily Guide.
Yeah, he was speaking exclusively to Gary. Gary.
Nana Baumia highlights Mahama incompetence is on page 3. And COVID online church wahala. Church members. Hey, our members, they go other churches. So
yeah.
Them say online service no be feeling. They won't feely. That's from the cartoon part. Okay. So they say people are, the churches that are doing the online, they are not getting members. The members are shifting to where they are actually
obviously some churches are good with the online. I mean, they can make you feel like it's the physical in-church service. You get what I mean? Others who, of course, only started because of the COVID, the feeling won't be the same. So if they can get the right feeling in another church, why are you concerned about the fact that you don't have more members? If your members are still following the word and they are receiving grace, that's what you should be excited about, not be fighting over members, but they're still in church.
Well, that's what...
Just not your church.
What you are saying is what it's supposed to be.
But it's still the Church of Christ.
That's what it's supposed to be, but we know that churches... Okay, you let me not go there.
No, go there. Let them sue you.
They thrive on membership, obviously. There's a whole lot of, I mean...
Yeah, but that's the thing. See, on membership, do you care what the effect on the members, or you just want to see the numbers in the church? Like, you just want to see that you're recording numbers?
They do care, but it's an added on to have a lot of members. I mean, because the church obviously has bills to pay if they are running online services. In fact, I saw a post during the lockdown era. Someone was saying that the online, they give them mobile money accounts. They sometimes at the end of service, they check the mobile money account and no notification. But meanwhile, they've announced it and asked the members to pay their offering. But they are not selling their offering.
Listen, things are not the same. People have lost their jobs.
The church is buying data to stream the service and make it available to the members. I think I side with the church.
We appreciate that, but things are also not the same. There are quite a number of us who are not working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Akosha says people want the church Philly. So that is the situation.
The final paper, the Business and Financial Times, interested in this headline: 90% of local businesses see sales decline due to COVID-19. If sales have declined, then Joseph, what am I giving back? What am I putting into that church mobile money that they're advertising?
Yeah.
So this is new data released by the Ghana Statistical Service, which has revealed that the coronavirus pandemic led to a significant decline of sales in about 90% of local businesses surveyed in 2,770 localities in the country from May to June 2020. There's further breakdown of this in the Business and Financial Times. We'll do myjoyonline.com, but there's also the U.S. presidential debates, which has been described largely as messy, full of insults. Something that they haven't seen before. There was a poll right after the debate. 70% of respondents said they didn't like it, like they were disappointed, and then 30% said they were entertained. So it's either you were entertained or not. 70% said no, 30% said it was funny. Well, we were sleeping, maybe most of us, when that debate was underway. So we got on the BBC, and here's what we can share from their site. Oh, you think this was just something that happened? I mean, the whole thing was full of this. Insults sometimes. I think Joe Biden called President Trump a clown at some point and asked him to shut up. And
you know, this is why people have been calling for the debates to happen here in Ghana. I mean, we love debates. Don't we enjoy debates? We want to see the two leading candidates or two individuals who want to be elected.
Yeah.
I mean, on the same podium, respond to each other directly. It's a contest of ideas.
Absolutely.
I mean, we shouldn't shy away from debates.
Yeah, here's another leg of it, though. Enjoy this one, too. You don't want to moderate this session, Joseph Akable. What's this? Chaotic.
Not at
Very
all.
messy.
I just feel a lot of it is instigated by Mr. Trump. All the highlights I've seen, he always seems to have, you know, even before the debate, he has always been hitting at Mr. Biden, making a point that, I mean, Sleepy Joe and all those things.
Yeah.
He calls him there.
His
but
son.
yeah, but people are also looking at it and saying that, I mean, they can't believe that this is a debate they are watching in the United States of America. I mean, you're not going to see. If there were to be a presidential debate in Ghana, it's not going to take this form, obviously. It will be more civil, it will be more issue-based, you know, it will be bereft of such insults that is taking place.
Yes.
I mean, don't use the word smart in a context. You don't know the college you attended, all those issues will not be tolerated. But this is the United States of America.
I find it entertaining, though. So I'm part of that 30% that responded to the poll, even though I didn't take part.
Yes, it's pure entertainment.
Pure entertainment. Can you imagine the United States of America president entertaining you and those of us in other parts of the world enjoying it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Listen, there's plenty of stories on myjoyonline.com, but I want to say thank you to House of Kings. Every shirt that I wear, especially the ones that you like, are from House of Kings. They give me shirts to wear on the AM show. You can find them in Accra, UPSA. They're also in East Legon, Achimota, Hacho, and Westlands. That's the number to call. Reach out to them and get a shirt that absolutely suits you, only from House of Kings. You can log on to myjoyonline.com and then you can read on more of the stories. But Joseph, just before we go, this legally Ghana doesn't exist. That's a debate. Is it a debate or a position taken by Mr. Kosi-Kadem?
He read from a document. I've seen that document too. The document simply says the state ought to take steps. When Ghana had, after the plebiscite, the point was made that they need to take steps to ensure that the union comes into effect. And his point is that there's no document showing the effects that union has actually taken place legally. And that's the point he was making yesterday, making the call that should be addressed. He's not for secession. He made that point categorically, but he just makes the point that he thinks that government needs to listen to people, not those who are engaged in the violence, but rather individuals who are raising issues such as him, making the point that there's just no document that shows that this particular union was carried out. And so that's what he's specifically asking for. And so in fact, it makes the point that resolves with the agreement of the administrative authority that on the date on which the Gold Coast becomes independent and the union with it of the territory of Togoland under the British administration takes place, the trusteeship agreement approved by the General Assembly, it mentions the regulation cease to be in force, the objectives of the trusteeship having been attained. Then it requests the government of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland to notify the Secretary General as soon as the union of the territory of Togoland under British administration with an independent Gold Coast has been effected. And so this is the document from the General Assembly UN resolution that it makes the point that it says they should be notified once it has been effected. And it says there's no document showing that this particular union was effected. And that's the argument he's making.
Okay, but this is not the basis for what's happening today. I'm not sure that's the argument that he's making.
Yes, so he's saying that those who are actually making the argument, they don't understand the issues. But this is what he thinks is the issue, but it's not a basis for secession.
Okay.
It's just something that needs to be addressed.
Okay. All right. So you can read the rest of it. Also, one thing that came out from the, this is Mr. Martin Amidu. It's also on myjournline.com. Please get on it and read it on the Japan deal. He says, pull breaks on IPO, produce outstanding documents. Special prosecutor to Finance Ministry. Also one of the issues that broke yesterday. That's it for our review. Happy birthday to Stella Kumia Odami of Kwabenya. May you age graciously and be a blessing to many. We love you dearly, from your children, your grandchildren, immediate and extended family and friends. Joseph, thank you for the review. Stay with us. Ore Kwampov. Yesterday I said Chelsea was going to lose, right? And they did. No apologies if you're a Chelsea fan. We just want to show you highlights of that game and how you lost.
The new goalkeeper is terrible.
We don't.
At penalties.
And this is the result. Stay with us.